I was living my worst nightmare come true. Sitting across from me in Lieutenant Monster's office was the one that got away. Cookie and I picked up that fink of a club owner, Jack L. Diamond. First, we went by my office, found it ransacked, as if by a fat man going through a bakery after a long diet. Diamond and I had a long-standing beef from way back in the bootlegging wars, but it was nothing to match what I was feeling now.
Why don't you stop filing your nails? Look at me when I'm talking to you.
Why should I, Flatfoot? You ain't saying anything that interests me.
What about a kidnapping charge? That prick your interest?
Kidnapping? You're out of your tree. Just who am I supposed to have kidnapped?
1. Miss Millicent Farthington.
The words hang in the room for me, filling the moment with tension and anticipation. I'm leaning in the corner of my chair just a little, in Diamond's direction. He looks at me for a second and does something really unexpected.
You mean someone put the snatch on Bird Boy's Gal Friday? And you think it was me? Woo! Oh, by Big Al's Tommy gun, I wish that were true.
You saying you weren't behind it?
You're a little slow on the uptake, ain't you, LT? Maybe you should think about retiring.
Laugh it up, fuzzball, but we got you dead to rights on the Stanley rub-out. So as if you know what happened to London, you better pony up, just to keep out of old Sparky.
You got nothing on me, Fuzz, just like usual.
Really? You was the one who arranged boat passage for both Stanley and Livingstone statues. Plus, you donated big money to the exhibit itself.
Maybe I'm just an art lover.
Yeah, like Irish Mike O'Bannon was just a florist.
Dr. Stanley was bumped by an animal with claws.
Very good, Sherlock. But as I told you before, lots of mugs in this city got claws.
But they don't have access and knowledge of the twin statues of Bast, like you bought. With that, Diamond and I both leave our chairs. We're beak to nose when he says in my face,
You got a good theory there, Dick Tracy, but what you don't have is proof. But hey, I hope you find your little girlfriend. In pieces.
That is it. I slug Diamond and he reels back, hitting the office door. Cookie grabs hold of me.
Phil, stop!
Just as that mook Sergeant Otis enters.
Sergeant Otis, are those the test results I asked for from the crime lab?
Yes, Lieutenant. They show it was orange cat fur in Dr. Stanley's wound. The killer was an adult feline. I'm sorry, Penguin.
Diamond wiped his ugly mug, stepping towards the door.
As you both know, I may be accused of a lot of things, but being an adult feline ain't one of them.
He pats Otis on the shoulder as he passes him. Then he opens the door. As the mug's leaving, he stops in the doorway, smiling at me.
You know, LT, you got a big empty jail here. If you keep Penguin in charge of filling the joint, it might just stay that way for a long time.
The Case Files of Phillip Penguin.
This is it. The end of the Coptic caper. Better known as the stuff dreams are made of. After dinner, we meet Livingstone in his office.
Here is the copy I had made. It is a perfect duplicate of the genuine Bast. No one outside of an archaeologist or art expert could possibly tell the difference. It should be perfect for our little charade.
I'm still a little unclear on the point of going through opening night with this phony.
The idea, as I understand it, is to devalue the purloined statue. Am I right, Mr. Penguin?
What? Yeah.
I get it. If the wrong statue was stolen, then the culprit still only has half the prize they need.
Capital idea, really. The publicity department has done a bang-up job letting all of the available news sources believe that the real statue of Bast is on display tonight. It will jolly well force our criminal to try for it.
We will be waiting for them with open arms. There's only one fly in the ointment. If you're right about Diamond's part in the transport of the twin, how would he not see right through this scam, Phil?
I barely heard what he said. My mind was a million miles away. Cookie knew it.
Hey, you gonna join us at some point?
Huh? What?
You've been on Dream Street since our meeting with Diamond. What's going on in your head? We need you here.
You're right, pal. You need my best, and I can't give it right now. I gotta take a break. Just set the trap. I gotta step out for a while.
But how do we deal with Mr. Diamond's knowledge?
Don't worry about that jerk. He's so suspicious. Once he reads that article you printed in the paper, there ain't no way he will believe whoever's got the real dingus.
The exhibit is tonight. You've got to get your head together before it.
I made my way towards the door, opening it as automatically as a robot on display at the World's Fair. I turned and said, "Look, I'll be back to my old self again when we meet at the museum tonight."
See that you are. I will have everything in place by 6 p.m.
Then I left with no idea where I was headed. While I was wandering the streets of the Windy City in a fog, 3 rat finks were having it out on board the Enola Gay. The head of the table in his dock stateroom was Jack L. Diamond, dutifully watched over by his old English lapdog, Rocco. To his right was the ever-glamorous, right now nervous, bombshell, Kitty Galore. On his left was that bilge rat of a sea captain, Rizzo Ralston.
Are you sure you brought the right package, Ralston?
Aye, matey. 'Tis the very box given to me by living stock hisself.
Rocco, give me a copy of the Times you brung.
Here, boss.
If you got both statues, what's going on display tonight?
I don't know what game they are playing, but I stole the real McCoys.
How can we be sure? I am not going to lose money on this deal, Kitty.
I smell a rat. Other than the captain here, my beloved Laura would never lie to me.
But that only confirms the first one. We know that one's real. The question is, what's going on display tonight?
I stole the one Ralston delivered. I entered the office right as he left. There was no time for that trussed-up canary in the back room to make a switch.
There be one way to be sure. We could ask her quite nicely. We could.
He said while fiddling with his knife.
That would be my pleasure. You boys, wait out here. Time for a little girl talk.
Kitty enters the dark, dank stateroom. London is tied to a chair in front of a small wooden work table. Kitty takes one of the empty wooden chairs ringing the table and turns it to face a very angry-looking canary.
Feeling any better? That was quite the blow I landed on you.
I've had worse from my wee sick cousins. Here, untie me. I'll demonstrate.
Nice try, sweetheart. That sharp tongue of yours must really get you into trouble. Maybe this time it could get you out of the spot you're in.
Somehow, I don't think you are that interested in my welfare. Maybe you should come back later. As you can see, I'm a little tied up right now.
Very funny. How about verifying that it was the real Bast you were putting in the safe? Then I can leave you in peace.
Oh, is that why you're here? Sorry, but your blow to my head has made me totally forget whether I switched the statues or not.
Do you know who I am, dear heart? You better not mess with me.
Oh, please, you're a lounge-singing tot who tried to get her claws in my boyfriend and failed. I'm petrified.
I am Bestonia El Armun, daughter of the seventh son and the greatest criminal the world has ever feared as the tigress. The Bass twins are mine by birthright, as is your befuddled boyfriend.
You are not good enough to shine his shoes, Miss High and Mighty.
Tigress explodes. Clobbers London with one of the rickety wooden chairs.
Peasant, lie there and bleed.
Ralston and Diamond pile in. Rocco grabs Tigress, preventing her from continuing to pound on a prone London, whose chair has developed all kinds of cracks.
You gave her quite the walloping, dearie.
What of that?
Calm down. Rocco, leave her go. This fight is over. That dame on the floor ain't going anywhere. Anywhere but the cemetery.
Right, boss.
This leaves us with the same problem. How do we prove that this is the right statue before we fence it?
I believe I have an idea there, boyo. There be a French frog who I know that fences the most exotic of treasures. If we get him, he could both examine and fence the proud beauties for us.
Well then, what are we waiting for? I can tell you done the job right on her. She won't be a problem, so just leave her lie there. Ralston will dump what's left of her overboard on his way to the next port. I wish I could see Penguin's face when he realizes he's never gonna see her again.